Hello again, Packer fans. This is Ralph Mancini from LombardiAv.com as the Green Bay Packers get set to square off against the division rival Chicago Bears. The Green Bay Packers are 2-1 right now. They're coming off a thrilling and miraculous victory against the Cincinnati Bengals. And there are some things to be excited about. I mean, you have to be happy with the fact that they're 2-1. You know, they could easily be 1-2, maybe even 0-3 if things went a little bit differently against the Seahawks in Week 1. But there's a lot of stuff to fix over here. And if you're brutally honest with yourself as a Packer fan, you have to admit that right now at this point, this team does not look like a surefire Super Bowl contender. And there are some things to worry about even within your division. The Detroit Lions, they look like they're for real this year. So there are a lot of things to fix over here. So let's take a look at some of those deficiencies and how we can improve them somehow, some way. So you take a look at the defensive side of the ball. The cornerback position continues to be a major area of weakness. You have to love what you've seen so far out of Kevin King. He shows a lot of promise. I'm not really worried about him. I think he'll only continue getting better. But Devon House has been a disappointment up to this point. And as far as Demarius Randall and Quentin Rollins go, there's just not much to be excited about. Then also, as far as our pass rushers go at outside linebacker, we do have some good players there, but we don't have enough of them. We need more depth over there. And Nick Perry injured again, which seems to be a yearly occurrence. Thank goodness that we picked up Ahmad Brooks, but even he's 33 years old. And then you have Clay Matthews. He's over 30, so you hope he stays in one piece. And you have to hope that at some point Vince Beagle comes back and contributes in some form or fashion. And then we also have Kyler Fackrell, who, 2 years in, you have to say that it's just not working out for him. He's just not strong enough to win those inside battles or outside battles, depending on where he's rushing from. So I think that a change of environment may be in order for Mr. Fackrell. But the other thing now, moving over to the offensive side of the ball, you're not comfortable with the fact that we seem to be in chase mode each and every week. In each one of our last 3 games, we have trailed at halftime. So we could certainly make some improvements on defense, but also on offense. Now, one of the things that has worked is Ty Montgomery. He's firmly established himself as the number 1 running back on the team. Now, you take a look at his game log, and he is averaging roughly 20 touches per week. And although I love the versatility he gives you, I love the fact that this kid works hard and just gives you everything he has on each and every carry. But you have to ask yourself, if he's going to continue averaging 20 touches per game, at some point you would have to think he's going to wear down, if not get injured altogether. You take a look at his track record going back to his Stanford days back in college, and this guy's had shoulder injuries, he's had ankle issues, knee issues, etc., etc. So I pose the question, how can we improve the offense? Very simply, I don't think there's a player out there that we need to trade for. I don't think there's anybody we need to drop. I don't think there's a free agent out there that can provide us with that sort of shot of adrenaline that we need on offense. I think the guy that can really help us in that department as far as getting more production out of the offensive backfield, he's on our roster right now. The only problem is he hasn't been activated in each of the last 3 weeks. And the player I'm talking about is Aaron Jones. If you're not familiar with Aaron Jones, he is a 5th-round pick. He is a rookie. He's from the University of Texas, El Paso. He was his school's all-time leading rusher. And if you watch this guy play, he just has it all. He's tough between the tackles. Much like Montgomery, he'll get every inch, every yard there is that's available to him that he can get. He gives you, every ounce of effort on every run. But in addition to that, he's elusive. He's got great lateral agility. He's a home run hitter. And he's versatile as well, just like Montgomery, as far as, you could split him out wide and he can run a variety of routes. He's not just one of these running backs, that is kind of like a dump off guy or a screen pass type of guy. He runs legitimate pass routes. As a matter of fact, I interviewed Aaron Jones back in April, right before the draft, about a couple of weeks before the draft, and he just rattled off about 7 different pass patterns that he ran back in school. So we saw a little bit of what Jones can offer back in the preseason. I remember him having big plays of 23 and 28 yards in weeks 3 and 4 of the exhibition season. So I think that Aaron Jones is the guy that could provide some relief for Ty Montgomery, because quite frankly, Jamal Williams, he's just a different type of back. You can't use him the same way that you use Ty Montgomery. Jamal Williams is pretty much your nuts and bolts, big back. He's going to get you to tough yards. He falls forward. He's good as far as he's a good player, depending on what you expect out of him. But Aaron Jones, if we bring him in, as a matter of fact, if we bring him in this week, we activate him this week, okay, on 3 days rest, his fresh legs could make a difference against the Chicago Bears. These are 2 injury-ravaged teams going up against each other. And when you bring in somebody like an Aaron Jones, who's fresh, who hasn't played in a few weeks, maybe this type of player could be the difference maker in this type of game, which I expect to be close, and it could quite possibly be a field goal game. So, for Lombardi Ave, this is Ralph Mancini endorsing Aaron Jones. I want this player to be a big part of our offense. I think there's a lot of special attributes about him. I think there's a lot of things he can do for this team. So let's hope for the best, and let's hope for a Packers win. Go Pack, go. See you next time, folks.